Hello and welcome to We Never Met, the podcast where I have a new guest that I've never met before on every single week. This week we have Libby.
Hi.
What is your last name?
Olbrantz.
Olbrantz. Okay. And you are known for the bus art project, which is something that was really interesting to me. But before we even get into that, did you grow up here in Milwaukee? Are you from here?
Yeah, actually, I was born at St. Joseph's. I grew up on the north side, right in Sherman Park. I went to Townsend Elementary, Morse Middle School, and then my family moved, actually. So I went to high school up near Sheboygan and Howard's Grove.
How'd you like living in Sheboygan? Sheboygan has mixed reviews.
It was a culture shock, actually, because growing up in, like, the inner city, it's so diverse and, like, culturally immersive, and then going to, like, the boondocks.
Is it kind of like that up there?
Yeah, well, I mean, where I live, there's literally 10 houses. I live next to, my mom lives next to a farmer's field.
Oh, geez, so it really is like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've made it up to Sheboygan really ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not terrible. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
There's, like, a really strong art community there. That's what I loved about it when I was there this last time.
Yeah. Is that kind of what made you pursue doing this art project? Did you grow up in, like, an artistic household? Were you artistic?
Definitely. My dad was a musician, a writer, a photographer.
Did everything.
Yeah.
Dabbled in everything.
He would take us on, like, little mini road trips. I mean, my family wasn't rich or anything. We grew up, like, very lower income. Yeah. So, like, our road trips would be to, like, La Crosse.
Yeah.
Or it would be, like, a present would be, like, we're going to see Bradford Beach today.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool, though. There's a lot of cool stuff in Wisconsin to go see, you know? So, yeah, you would go to different places around Wisconsin. Is there, like, a specific part of Wisconsin that you really like from, like, traveling around kind of and seeing it?
Well, my grandpa used to have a cottage, actually, up north that we would go to in the summer.
Oh, where at?
And that was near Elko.
Okay.
I think it was called, like, Turtle High Banks up there.
Okay.
And it was just like a escape almost, I guess. Like, where you
Is it pretty far up north?
I don't know. Like, I was like 5 years old when it happened because he died when I was like 6 or 7. So I only got to go up there like twice. But it was just really beautiful because I remember my dad would be on the dock and he'd be like fishing.
Very calming.
And I'd like I'd see like these see-through like fish that I'd never seen before, and I'd be like trying to reach in the water, and my dad would be like laughing at me. He's like, "You're not gonna catch them."
Watch me.
And I'm like, "No, I'm totally going to. Watch me do it."
Yeah. So is your dad like a musician in any bands that people would know or anything, or was he? What did he play? What instruments?
He played guitar.
Okay.
He has a lot of, actually, well, he died when I was 19.
Okay.
But there's still like a lot of guitars in my house. And, like, we have like the 12-string, like a couple electrics. Like my mom gave me his acoustic it has like the red, white, and blue flag on it from like the 70s, and I'm like, yes, I have to have that one. That's mine. Thank you.
Did you ever try to play? Like, have you tried music at all?
Yeah, actually, he gave me, for my 16th birthday, he gave me an acoustic guitar.
Oh, cool.
And then his present to me was to teach me how to play it. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So can you play pretty well, or?
No. The basic chords that he taught me, I guess I never, like, stuck to music, but I bought a couple ukuleles while I was traveling, and I love ukulele. Yeah.
It's a lot easier to play than guitar.
Yeah. So I always, if somebody has like a ukulele, I always like play Amy Winehouse. They're like, holy crap, you're so good. I'm like, yeah, that's all I know though.
That's my one hit.
Yeah, that's my one. I guess. Here you go. Like,
thank you. Yeah, because I have a ukulele too. I play it all the time, and I have a guitar over there that I never have touched. It's so much harder to play guitar than it is ukulele. There's 2 less strings, so it makes it easier.
Is yours acoustic or electric?
Yeah, acoustic.
Yeah, acoustic's harder, I find, because like the string, like they're so far off the fret. Like with the electric, it's closer to the fretboard.
Yeah, because my grandpa is similar, where he used to play a ton of stuff and like write music and all this stuff, and he had 2 guitars, and when he died, he gave them to me. So I have like an electric, like a really nice electric Fender guitar, and then an acoustic guitar too, but I've never learned how to play.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
The bar cart, like The bar chords are the hardest.
Yeah.
Like
just
like getting into the B's, I was like, oh my god, I want to put my hands.
My hands
like, I have
aren't
to, like
long
this,
enough.
and then I'm like, how do I get my pinky all the way over there?
Yeah. And then the strings are so tough to like. For me, like it hurts your fingers after a while.
Yeah, you really have to callus them up.
Yeah.
And you have to have short nails. I love growing my nails out. So whenever
yeah.
I pick up the guitar, I'm like, oh shoot, I have to cut out my nails again.
yeah. So with your family growing up there, did they kind of push you to? Because the bus art project, we can get into that. Is you kind of put installations in where there are bus stops. Mm-hmm. So from a young age, were you kind of like, since your dad was kind of more into the arts and creative, were you immersed in that too? Were you like painting at a young age? Were you like doing kind of that kind of thing?
Yeah, I was always drawing when I was younger, actually. And then my parents just always instilled it in me. I think like my dad gave me cameras, like his used cameras to like take photos. I was drawing, and then I remember for my 9th birthday, he gave me a journal. And then from like 9 years old, then I got into writing.
Sure.
So like I just never...
You kind of went through the cycle of a little bit of everything.
I've just never gave up on writing either. Like actually my degree is in journalism and English minor, so my background, I guess, is in writing, but it's also in art because I've never stopped drawing either. Well, actually, that's a lie. I did stop drawing because I got really insecure about drawing.
What do you mean? How so? Like showing people your work?
Yeah. I dropped out of the art scene for a long time because sometimes it's like hard to like put yourself out there all the time.
Sure.
And like other creative people sometimes don't want you in that creative realm, it feels like. I don't know, there's like this weird insecurity in other people, I think, that if somebody else is creative, it somehow takes away from somebody else's creativity.
Which is weird, which is a weird dynamic. And I also think it's, with like art and things like that, it's 10 times harder because it's like personal to you. So like the critiques and like things like that feel a little bit harsher when it's something that's like so close to you. It's not like you're just drawing like a squirrel or something, you know what I mean? It's like something that means something to you.
Yeah, that's how I am with drawing now. Like I pretty much like stop drawing.
Yeah.
Like I can like sketch sometimes, but it's just like it makes me so anxious because I think like showing people like what I actually have inside of me is just like really scares me.
Sure.
Because it's like you're revealing your entire soul, like what's inside of you, and like for other people to judge you, and it's like, oh man, that's terrifying.
Yeah, take a look at this picture. What do you think?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, man, collage is so. Now I do like collage. Actually, I've been collaging since I was like 16, and I just got back into it like 4 years ago. And
what does that entail? So like, what is like a collage? Like you take stuff from just all different forms of media and put it together?
Yeah. So I'll go through magazines and just like intuitively whatever I'm drawn to, just like cut it out and then put it all together on a piece of paper or canvas.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you like show those to people? Is that like something, or like you keep it to yourself?
It's intimidating to like show a collage because it's like, well, that's not true too. Sorry. I'm like thinking about it and I'm like, actually I do get like insecure.
I don't like it.
Let me go back on that. I've had a couple pieces in some like magazines or like zines that people have done. Like my friend Christian, he started his own zine and he just asked me to like submit some art, so I just gave it to him.
Cool.
I was like, sure, here you go.
Yeah.
I had an artist feature in Collage magazine actually last summer. That was pretty
very
cool. It made me feel like really proud because I was like, hell yeah, the collage people are recognizing me. Yeah,
that's really cool. So like, what are the size of these collages? Do they vary?
Yeah, sometimes they'll be maybe like 4 by 4 inches, or sometimes I'll do like a really tiny one. Like I have this little Polaroid stamper that I'll like put on paper and I'll like collage like a 1 inch by 1 inch.
Oh, cool. And that's gotta be hard doing it that small.
I think like I'm always kind of like doing things like small. Yeah. I don't know. Like when a canvas is too big, it just really
overwhelms.
Yeah, because I don't know what to do with all this space.
There's a lot of space.
Which is funny because the bus project is like fill up this entire space, and I'm like, hell yeah, let me fill up this space with other people's artwork. But then it's like when I'm like asked to fill it with my own artwork, I'm like, oh god, I'm terrified.
Yeah. So you said you started the bus art project in Sheboygan, right? Yeah. With bus stops specifically up there, or where were they in a different place?
No, so in Sheboygan we put them inside of the buses, like the artwork.
How did that work? Like just kind of.
So we made like little posters. I can't remember what size they were. Like what's it's like a 11 by 18 or something, or I don't know what the normal size is for like a poster, but I approached like a Sheboygan visual artist. I said the bus company is willing to give me like this free space with art, or to put art up if you guys want to put art in. They're like, actually, because they said as long as I paid for the printing, they would just give me the space.
Oh, cool.
And so I went to the Sheboygan visual artist and I said, hey, the bus company is willing to give us this space.
Yeah.
And they said they would actually cover the cost of the printing, because it only was like $40 to print all the posters.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it wasn't like a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
And they said as long as I used their artist, then it was fine.
Cool. And like, how do you pick the artists? Like, how do you pick people? Is it just people you know or people you've seen, like, around?
Well, in Sheboygan, it was just whoever applied to the call that was a part of Sheboygan Visual Artists, since they're paying for it. But in Milwaukee, since I haven't like seriously lived here since I was like 12, I don't have like a huge network to fall back on down here yet. But I just asked people I knew down here. I was like, hey, I really like your art, and the bus company is giving me permission to like do this project. I think it'd be cool to see your art. Like it had just been like people I'd met around, like Charity. Actually, I met her at this what was it, Pancakes and Booze show when I first moved here, like 2 years ago, June.
Sure.
And I just loved her illustrations. I was like, oh my God, you're so cool.
I'll put you up. I'll get you.
Yeah. I like messaged her and I was like, hey, I love your artwork. Like it was like super dope on a bus shelter, and she was totally all about it.
Are most people excited? I would assume, right?
Yeah. I haven't had like any artists that are like, no, that sucks.
I will not do that.
Yeah.
I'll not put
everybody's super excited about it.
Yeah. So originally, when you started it, what in your mind was like, let's put art here. Let's put art here. Because it's such a specific spot. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wouldn't be on a bus and be like, put art here.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, okay, so in Sheboygan, we had like dabbled with the idea of putting it on the shelters, but we weren't sure like how we were going to do it. And so they gave us the space inside of the bus to like test it out. But then when I came down to Milwaukee and I approached MCTS about it, it was actually Brendan Conway, who was the lead marketing coordinator there at the time. He said, like, it's cool that you were doing this in Sheboygan like that, but it would actually be cooler like here, like to get more like to see it more and more visual space like on the shelters. He's like, I'd like to see it on the shelters. And I was like, hell yeah, if you're going to give me the space, I want to make it happen.
Yeah. How did like in your mind, like your thought process originally, like before it even began, what made you think you wanted to do it in a bus or on a bus shelter? Like, where did that come from? Because it just seems like an idea that a lot of people wouldn't think of, which is why a lot of people haven't done it, I'm assuming.
I don't know. I think that's how my brain works. It's just like taking one thing that doesn't seem like it belongs with another and molding it together. Do
you have any other like ideas that were kind of similar like that? Like I feel like
a lot. I don't know if I've done anything with them.
Let me get my notebook out. Yeah. let me see.
Probably in a journal when I was like 12.
Yeah, because I feel like that's like me walking down the street and like seeing the CVS here outside and being like, I'm gonna put art on that wall. Yeah. But I would never think like that, which is like it's cool. It's like a really creative, out of the blue idea. Yeah. You know.
Well, the idea stemmed, like, I was in Sheboygan, and I was bored, so I was just, like, driving around downtown, which is, like, a 10-block radius, really, so it's like, oh, man.
Doing a lot of loops.
Yeah. So I'm just, like, driving around constantly. Yeah. No, but I got stuck behind this bus, and I was just like, man, it's so boring. Like, it needs art on the back of this bus.
Needs something.
I was like, it's just, like, this big white ass in my face. So I was like, I need art on this. Yeah. And so I reached out to the ad company because it said advertise here, and I was like, hey, how much would it cost to like put art in this space? Yeah. And they said it's $1,000 a month, and I was like, holy crap, nobody has that kind of money like starting out. And I was like, okay, thank you. And so I just was like, well, I'm gonna figure out a way to get art.
Yeah. If they're saying $1,000, I'll do it for less. And I'll get on there.
Now I have to figure out a way around this. Like, whenever there's, like, a block, I'm like, okay, well, how can I go around this?
How can I cheat the system? I don't want to pay $1,000, but I want something. I need something on there.
So I went straight to the bus company and I was like, hey, like, I really want to put art on your bus. Like, how can I make this happen?
Yeah.
And he said, like, we have the space above, like, where they have the advertisements in the bus. Like, you can have, you could put, like, some artwork up there. Like, if you pay for the printing, you can have the space for free.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, if you're going to give me the space for free.
That's a lot better offer than I got originally, $1,000.
I was like, 1,000 versus free. I would have, like, I'm going to take it.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite piece here? Like, that it's in Milwaukee here? Because there's, how many are there now?
So
like,
good.
there's
10, I believe,
10?
now. There's either 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So, okay, Gloria Ruiz Santos.
What is hers look
so
like?
freaking cool in Walker's Point.
Oh,
and the reason
it's
why...
more of like is it kind of like a Mexican, is that a different one?
The serape.
Yeah.
And the reason why I love her piece so much is because when the sun hits it from behind, it just looks like a rainbow of diamonds, just like sparkling. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah, because isn't that one that got stolen?
Yeah, that's the one that actually...
Did you guys get it back?
Yeah, we did get it back, but it was
Who
in
steals
shambles.
it off of a bus stop? Like, what was the... Did you find the person that did it?
I never personally found him. I never heard if he got found, actually.
Oh, really?
So I don't know
you just
what
found
happened.
the piece?
But we got the piece back, I think, like, because his image was out there so much, because it was the bus cameras that caught him doing it, and then he got onto the bus with it. So I don't know what that was
crime.
about. Yeah,
I'm going to steal from the bus and then get on the bus.
I'm going to steal from you and then use you to get home with the stolen property.
So, yeah. But that's crazy. That seems like a weird crime. It's like you're going to put on your wall at home. Like, it's a big piece. Like, actually, what are you going to do with it?
I told her when it first happened, I was like, honestly, I bet this is in somebody's, like, living room.
That's
and I was
what I'm saying.
I think this is, like, a huge compliment that somebody was like, shit, this is so cool that I need this in my living room immediately.
Yeah.
I'm just going to rip it down and, like, take it. I was like, really? This is, like, the highest compliment.
Yeah. So working with these artists, I know you mentioned one of them. What is the general process with you reach out to them, say, hey... well, also, how do you pick out the stops specifically? Is it just kind of random, or? Well,
since we were first starting, the bus company suggested, like, just start in neighborhoods that are already, like, more artistic.
Sure.
And so
that makes
like,
sense.
just to, like, test it, like a pilot run.
Sure.
He's like, okay. So Brendan said, like, check out River West and Bayview.
Yep.
And Gloria was adamant about Walker's Point, which I'm glad we did, because it's her neighborhood. And, like, that neighborhood is completely, like, really artistic as well.
Yeah.
And... so, like, we started in those 3 neighborhoods, and it just had, like, such positive reviews that now it's like, okay, well, where else can we go? How can we, like, spread this more? And then South Milwaukee actually reached out to us, like, the mayor of South Milwaukee.
Oh, wow.
And he wanted a bus shelter down there, so we had, like, a little contest in South Milwaukee, and we chose they chose a South Milwaukee resident to have that space down there.
Okay. So do you ever talk to the artists afterwards? Like what was their process for, like, because some of them are more interpretive. There's one where it was, is there one on water? There's
Tang and Dominic on water.
What's the one where it's more like, is it like diamond-y kind of?
Oh yeah, that's Tang's.
Yeah. I like that though. It's cool.
Yeah, she is so cool actually. Those patterns are actually patterns that she's creating for her fashion line.
Really?
Yeah. So
she creates clothes or makes...
Yeah, so, she doesn't have the money right now to, like, print the fabric, but it's, they're designs that she has created to print on fabric. So I was like, hell yeah, you gotta put these designs on the shelter.
Yeah. What is her aspiration? How long did you talk to her about that stuff? Like, does she want to make, like, runway kind of stuff? Or is it, like, stuff that you could sell in stores?
I don't know. I told her she should be famous.
And this is the start of it.
Why not saying this is where it begins?
Yeah, exactly. And then everybody will come to that bus stop.
I was like, listen, we gotta have a runway in the middle of the park.
Yeah, get all your clothes, get all the fashion that you can.
Listen, Tang, I got you. I found the runway. I found the models.
Yeah, dang. So I'm sure, like, all these people, they kind of have, like, real aspirations and other things. It's not just specifically art.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, Libby's piece that you really like in Bayview.
Yeah.
Her aspiration is to be like a comic artist. She really loves comic illustration.
You can kind of tell that by the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was the first artist I actually reached out to because I loved her style so much.
Yeah.
I was like, Libby, I'm doing this.
Where'd you find her? Just on.
She was actually my boss. I used to work at the art museum, and she was my boss there. And I think she hated me in the beginning.
Really?
I like when I first got hired, I was like, the other Libby, and she was like, I was like, oh no, I ruined this relationship already.
It's over now.
But no, I love Libby. I'm like Team Libby.
Now I'm all about it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I reached out to her and I was like, Libby, like, I love your art. Like, it's so cool. You have to put your art on this shelter.
Yeah.
And she was actually really excited about it when I told her about it because she really wants to get her artwork out there.
Yeah, some of these people have like super intense like stories behind like why they like hers. Wasn't she hers about like anxiety and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that about her actually. Like because the bus company they'll ask the artist some questions too, like to put on the website.
Yeah.
And when she responded, or I ask questions too. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But she responded with that, and I was like, dang, I didn't know. Like, I guess like that's another part of like the creative world is we don't know what anyone's going through at the time.
Sure.
Because I think like creativity comes from like an emotional place sometimes.
Yeah.
And so we never know what anyone else is dealing with, and then to like find that out, it's like, oh shoot, like, okay, like makes you like rethink, like, well, I want to like look at like what does their art mean now, or like, like it creates like this extra layer.
Yeah, and I think with a lot of them too, it's just a cool experience to be able to like turn things that normally are just regular things like a bus stop into like a piece of art. You know, it's just a cool concept, and be able to like display that, you know, on that big of a scale. So do you like outside of the bus art project, what do you do?
Actually, I'm writing my book. No, I've been like kind of like quiet about it, but I've been telling people for a long time that I really wanted to write this book about my life, and I just have like a lot of crazy experiences, I guess, that I just need to get out of me on paper. Yeah,
because you said you know consistently write. So how long have you been consistently writing for? Like since
I was 9, since I got that journal.
Like no, you're good. Like every day you write?
Not every day, but I do write a lot. Like I always have my phone on me so I can like open the notepad and write something, or I'll post a photo on Instagram and I'll like write like this little story with it.
Yeah.
And I wrote a blog. I had a blog for a while.
Yeah.
Everybody has a blog. I feel like though, so that's not like a.
Well, I don't have a blog, so yeah.
This could be your time.
I go and start one once you leave. Sam's blog.blogspot.com.
This is my blog.
Yeah. What was your blog about? Like, what did you write on your blog?
It was just like crazy stories because I traveled a lot for a while.
Sure.
And so it's just
around
like crazy.
the United States or internationally too?
Internationally.
Okay.
Like I taught English in Brazil for a couple of months.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I was like down there, and like a lot of crazy things happened while I was down there. So I'd like write stories about it.
Like what crazy things? Like bad crazy?
No. Oh, they were like super fun. Like one of them was just like this pool party I went to, and like how crazy it was, because it's just like, okay, well, 1 minute I'm in the water, and the next minute I'm like dancing at this other stage.
Yeah, I heard Brazil's kind of like that. Like, is it like a party place kind of? Where were you in Brazil specifically? Like, what city did you teach in?
I was in Aracaju. That's in the state of Sergipe in the northeast.
Okay.
It's like the smallest state in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
But I lived with this really awesome family. They were so welcoming. They remind me actually of my own family here. So it's just like being at home. And then I became friends with like all my students and the other teachers. And
what age level were you teaching?
It's like 18 to 24, so like college level.
Oh, wow.
But it's called, actually it was a program I did through UW Milwaukee. Oh. And that was ISIC. You can do like within a year out of college, you can go on an international project.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So other than Brazil, what other places have you gone?
Actually, I went a lot. I did my last semester in London.
Oh,
so
cool.
I lived there for 4 months.
Yeah.
So part of that trip was we did like an educational tour around the EU for 2.5 weeks. So we were in like Germany, France, Belgium, Luxembourg.
Wow, you saw a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool because you get to like see actually like the history and like the historical places and like all the government buildings and like talk to like people that are like from the culture and about this space. And
yeah. So from all the places that you have gone, what has been your favorite?
Brazil.
Brazil? Because of the
Brazil's
people or
amazing.
because of the just environment that you're in?
Yeah, it's like the energy of the country is just so amazing. I mean, I'm sad right now because of what's happening like politically. Like their president is like really intense.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of scared because I love Brazil so much. So I'm like, Brazil, please.
Yeah. Figure it out.
I love you so much.
Yeah.
But there is a park actually that I came across accidentally in Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
And it's called Parque Lage. And I thought it was the botanical garden.
Oh, really?
Like, I was...
Because it was so lush and, like, a lot of plants and stuff?
Well, I'd been going to the beach a lot with people, and, like, my skin was so fried. I was like, I have this Nordic Wisconsin skin.
I have that problem,
I was
too.
like, I have to go be in, like, some green space
I would go wear
now.
a turtleneck and, like, get in the shade.
I'm like, I'd love to go to the beach with you guys, but right now my skin...
I can't. It's literally going to fall off.
So I went to... I thought I was going to the botanical garden, and I saw this sign that said Jardim Botanico.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that the whole neighborhood is called Jardim Botanico.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to miss my stop. And so I, like, clicked the
thing to get off the bus.
On the bus stop, or the bus, and then I got off, and I was like, dang, this botanical garden is banging. And like, there's, like, ferns everywhere, like, these huge trees. And I'm like, man, this is wild.
Wow, this is huge.
And I'm like walking through it, and I'm like, man, this place is incredible.
Yeah.
And I just like walk up, and there's like this huge, I don't know any way to describe it except like a mansion, like a roofless mansion, like in the middle of this park.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is so random. What is this place?
Yeah.
Where am I? And like I walk up, and like you like go up all these stairs, and you like enter through this huge doorway, and then there's just like a giant pool in the middle of it, and it's like, what the hell? Is this a museum? Or where am I?
Am I allowed to go in there?
Yeah. And like there's no roof, so like you just look up, and there's like the Cristo on the hill, like the Corcovado.
Yeah.
And I just started like walking around the pool, and I'm like, what the heck is this? There's like people painting around the pool. There's like a coffee shop in back. I'm like, I think this is an art museum maybe or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I walk into a room, and I just walk up, and I saw this guy painting in the room, and I was like, fala inglés? Like, do you speak English? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, what is this place?
Am I in your house?
Yeah. And he's like, oh, this is, it was the visual arts school in the park. And I was like, oh my God, this park is like my soul. Like there's an art school in the middle of this amazing forest.
Wow. That's crazy. So presumably those people were just teachers or students or?
Yeah, he was a student. And I think like, I don't know what, I feel like you can just go in like as like a public space. Like it's like a school, but it's also like open to the public.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because, I mean, there's, like, the coffee shop in back. But that's what I love about Brazil. It's not, like, in the U.S., like, we're very, like, restricted. Like, this is what this space represents, and this is what it has to be. And,
this is a commercial space. You can build a business here. Or this is a park. You cannot build a business here.
It's more, like, to me, it's, like, more, like, heavily, like, masculine energy, where it's more rigid and, like, what has to be done and, like, how things have to be accomplished.
Sure.
But, like, in Brazil, it's more like feminine, where it's just like, whatever. It's anything, come and go,
it out,
like
everything. You can do whatever.
And I love environment. I like really thrive in like these, like more, like heavily feminine energy environments.
More flexible environments where it's like, you're not constrained. It's just kind of
there's
a place.
There's no boxes to And I think maybe that's why I love the bus project so much, because it's just like I can put artwork here, and it's not like I'm not being controlled to like where I can put the art. Like when I go to the bus company, they're actually like very open and like with me, like I tell them like what stops I'm interested in, and they tell me like that if that's a good idea or not. And then it's like, okay, if they approve it, then we just move forward with that space.
Yeah. Is there any new installations coming with the bus art project? Is there any new ones coming up or?
Yeah. So, after Gloria's piece got stolen, we got like another $10,000 donation from the county executive, Chris Abley.
Oh, nice.
And so that has allowed us to go forward with the project this year.
Cool.
And so we're going to I wrote in my planner that actually the other night, on January 31st, release art call for the bus project 2019. So I'm looking at releasing the art call on the 31st of January for this summer.
People can just like kind of submit stuff and you guys pick? Is that how it goes?
Yep.
Oh.
So people just have to submit to the email at the bus art project at mke@gmail.com.
Okay.
And then we'll just, I guess, I don't know. I don't want it to be just me. I want there to be a selection committee. Like I've been thinking about like different ways to like go about selecting them. I thought about like having the other artists like come on board, as like a passing the torch almost, like because I thought that would be super cool, is like just letting the other artists decide like what comes next.
Yeah,
I've thought about like reaching out to. I thought it'd be cool actually to like go to like kids in specific like in the neighborhoods that we want. And be
that would be cool
because they're the ones that are really like growing up with it. And it's like it'd be so cool to just have like kids input, like what do you think looks cool in this space.
So do you guys have like areas already picked out and then you just get the artists for the areas, or is it kind of like a what do you call it, a cohesive thing where it's like based on the artist you pick the bus stop?
Well, so now that we had like such positive feedback from this past year, I actually want to focus on bringing the project to the north side, like where I grew up. So because I grew up riding the bus like all the time, and I think that's like where this project actually like stems from in like a deeper place, because like I grew up riding the 30 and the 23, like or the 21, and it's like now I want to give back to like my roots, like where I came from.
Sure. Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, where in the north side did you?
I grew up on 42nd and Fond du Lac.
Okay.
They call it Sherman Park now.
Sure.
I mean, when I was having this discussion with Dominic the other day. I was like, it's interesting, like, moving back to Milwaukee, because now everywhere has, like, all these different neighborhoods, and I'm trying to, like, learn all these neighborhood names. I'm like, Lindsay Heights, what's that?
Where is that?
I'm like, man, I don't even know. I'm, like, so disconnected from, like, these little neighborhoods, but, like, growing up on the north side, it was just called the north side, and, like, the south side and the east side.
Sure. Yeah. Do you think, like... do you think those pockets always... When did you leave and go to Sheboygan? How old were you?
I was 12.
12?
Yeah.
Do you think those pockets already existed and you just didn't realize it? Or... Because at a young age, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't have known where I was in anywhere, really. I'm just like, or even relative to the city.
I mean, that's true. I think so. I think there's definitely, like, because there's things that I noticed, like, coming back where I'm like, man, some things, like, just never changed. And then some things just are, like, completely different. But that's, like, the thing about leaving. You never know if it's you or the place that's changed. And in retrospect, it's actually both. Yeah. And so it's just, like, coming back is really actually just about learning how to mesh it all together again.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you think have changed a lot or haven't changed? Like that you've noticed at least?
The hop.
That's a big one.
Northwestern Mutual.
Yeah.
That building.
The infrastructure stuff?
Yeah, that building is huge.
Oh, yeah, that's nuts.
What else has changed? All these neighborhood names, I don't remember them from when I was a kid.
Yeah. How do you feel about the hop? How do you feel about that project?
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, I ride the hop every once in a while just because it's fun to people watch. It's fun to people watch. I know a lot of people hate the hop, but...
There's a lot of hop haters.
Yo, hop haters, what up, fam?
I'm on the hop.
No, but I don't want to hate on the hop because I just love transportation.
Yeah.
Actually, I did this interview a year ago, and somebody asked me, like, why are you so, like, drawn to transportation? Like, why do you love transportation?
You love it.
Like, you have this weird obsession with transportation. And I was like, it's not, like, maybe it's an obsession. I don't know. I just love the feeling of being in motion, though, you know? Like, like, my favorite mode of transportation is actually the train. Like, the Amtrak train, I think is, like, amazing because you just get to lay back and, like, watch it all, for miles.
Yeah, I think it's just nice to be able to, like, connect areas that you don't need a car necessarily. Yeah. I don't really like the idea of driving everywhere.
I think it has like a lot of potential actually too to like open things up because I think what I've noticed about humanity actually in general is that when anything changes, people get upset.
Oh yeah.
So whether or not they put the hop there or not, like anything that's changing will make people upset.
Sure. Yeah.
Like if it's I don't know. I've just noticed like there's this
resistance to change.
Yeah, people say they always like change. People like change, but then when change happens, people don't like change.
When change happens to them, they don't like it. Yeah, they like the idea of change. Yeah.
I feel like there's so much potential in this city because it's undiscovered, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like we had that Vogue article last year and everybody was like, yes, Milwaukee, we're on the map.
Yeah, finally.
And I'm like, yes, like, like to me, like, I don't know, I've always considered Milwaukee home because it's like where you're born, you're raised. Like you can't take away the first 12 years of your life. Like even though people will say like, oh, you're not from Milwaukee, like you left for so long, and it's like,
how dare you?
Well, I don't want to get like defensive or anything, but it's like, well, how can you like tell somebody that like what they experienced never happened? Like you can't take that away from somebody's life.
Thing. That's a weird thing to say. You're actually not from where you say you are.
You're not from here. Like
and I'm
you
gonna
left.
tell you that.
And it's like, okay, well, sorry you feel that way, but
like
I don't know, because I've had people like say weird stuff to me, like when I talk about growing up, and it's like, okay, well, you could just say that never happened, I guess.
It's like people always are so strange about that kind of stuff because it's like, how is this affecting your life?
Yeah.
If I say I'm from Milwaukee and I've lived here for 12 years and you say no, why? Why does it matter to you? Like
some people are really excited about it too, though. They're like everybody just reacts differently. I've noticed, like no matter what you say. Yeah. Because like reality or like conversations like become kind of subjective, where anybody almost like takes away whatever they want from it. Like, you try to leave everybody with a positive feeling, but if they're not in a positive place, they're not going to come away from that experience positively, regardless of what you say to them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Like, I know there's people I walk past on the street, I'll say hi, and they'll just, like, growl at me, you know?
They're like, don't even start with me.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess there's nothing I can do to make your day better.
Yeah. As far as the people here compared to the people in Sheboygan, is there a difference? Like, do you feel like, as far as, like, interacting with people...
Definitely.
Is Sheboygan more blue collar? Is it more manufacturing kind of stuff there, or like I've never been to Sheboygan. I don't really know the city very well.
I love Sheboygan.
Yeah.
It's just that like for me it almost feels like cagey because there's not enough opportunities to like grow or like develop as a creative. Mm-hmm. Like there's the art center, which is really amazing. They have really amazing activities there all the time, really cool interactive exhibits. Yeah. They have like a children's museum, which is very like they have art projects there too going on, and like they pull in a lot of muralists from the community to paint their walls. Yeah. And like there's a few galleries up there, and there's the Sheboygan Visual Artists, which are doing like really amazing things. Mm-hmm. But it's just like in terms of like growing as an artist. It feels like cagey almost.
Cagey in what way? Like there's just not as many opportunities as you'd like, or
there's not enough opportunities. So like you just it feels almost like you're drowning in your own boredom, or like not boredom. I don't want to say boredom because that can be like a negative connotation, but like drowning almost in like this
idea that you can like you want to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you want to do more, but there's no opportunities to do it.
Is that what brought you down to Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Did you have any other idea of like, was there any other place you would rather go when you're thinking about kind of leaving Sheboygan and going somewhere else?
Well, I just got back from a trip I went out to Oregon because my best friend.
I was just out there too.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
I was in Portland. Yeah.
My best friend, actually, I was supposed to help her with her blood drive, and I was going to paint mandalas and give them to people who had donated.
Cool. Yeah.
And she ended up going into labor. Like, she was 3 weeks. She was 3 weeks late on her pregnancy, and she went into labor like while I was out there. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't get to do the painting event, but
I got to experience something else.
Yeah,
cool.
but the cool thing is I get to be here for my best friend's birth. So,
yeah. Wow.
So on that trip, since I didn't get to stay in Oregon the entire time, so I was like, well, this is awkward. I don't want to, like, you have a newborn. Yeah. So I'm just going to go somewhere else. And I hadn't been to Seattle yet, so I took a bus up to Seattle.
How was it?
Sometimes there's like $5 buses that go from like Portland to Seattle.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the Bolt bus, I think it's called.
Oh.
And so I went up to Seattle, and I just fell in love with it. Like, I just like loved it.
I heard the people there were kind of standoffish in Seattle.
Oh,
I was there.
I didn't get that vibe.
No,
I loved it.
There's like this what do you call it, stereotype of Seattle where it's like they kind of like haze you for 2 years, so they're kind of like mean to you.
Oh man.
And then once you're like there for a while, they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how anyone ever tells that you're from Seattle or not, but that's just what I've heard about it.
Maybe if you're like glowing about Seattle, it's probably how they know. Because most people,
he likes it too much.
And anyone I would talk to, I'd be like, "Man, this city's amazing." They're like, "Yeah, come in the winter."
Go back when it rains forever.
Yeah, like, come back when it rains for 9 months straight, and I'm like, okay,
I'll see you then.
Well, nice to meet you.
Yeah, because my aunt lived there forever. Like, she lived there for 20 years or more. Yeah, and that was the one thing she kept saying. She's like, "Yeah, it's really great, but the rain." The rain is just really depressing because it just, and I lived in Ireland for 6 months, and I kind of had the same experience where it was like, we're here, we get snow that just rains like every day. And I don't know if I like it better because it's always gloomy, you know, when it's raining. At least when it's cold, sometimes it's sunny. Yeah. Which is okay, but like, it was like literally from January till like March, it rained almost every day. And it felt like it knew because, like, when I would walk outside, it would rain. And then I would come back inside, it would stop. And then, you know. But, yeah, it's kind of like a trade-off because Portland was similar where we went out there and it was raining a lot. But everything's so green and cool. Like, it has to rain for that to happen. So, I don't know.
Sometimes I feel like we're just interactive with the environment. Like, I feel like if I'm in a good mood, sometimes it's always sunny outside. But if I'm in, like, a terrible mood, all of a sudden it's, like, 12 inches of snow and, like, thunder showers. And it's like, dang. I was like, man, this is really reflecting what's happening in my emotional place right now.
Yeah. I think that's pretty intuitive, though. Because, like, I feel like you also just notice that. When you, like, if you're in a bad place, more things are going to be bad. Yeah. Just regularly, because you're just going to notice all the negative stuff. It could be sunny, but there could be some clouds. Oh, it's cloudy out here. Yeah. Can't believe it. What a terrible day.
I guess that's true, because if you're in a good mood, you don't really notice anything around. You're just like, hell yeah, it's raining.
Let's go dance out in the rain.
Hell yeah, it's snowing.
Yeah. It's honestly that helps a lot, and it sounds so cheesy. Yeah, because like I have been trying to do that where I wake up and I'm just like more positive immediately, because I feel like that just reflects your whole day. It's really easy to get caught in that, you know, especially now when it's cold. It's not cold today. It's pretty nice out actually. Yeah. But in the wintertime, it's real hard.
Yeah, yesterday was freaking phenomenal too. It was like 48 degrees.
Everyone was partying outside.
Yeah, I was like on a 5-mile walk. I was like, oh my God, my feet hurt. I need to go home.
Yeah.
How long have I been out here?
Oh, geez, all day.
I'm
okay.
Like, oh my God, the sun.
I've never seen it.
And it's cool too, because like when winter hits, you know, like there's like November, it's just always cloudy, and December, it's always cloudy, and then all of a sudden January comes, and like that's when the clouds break, and it's like cold outside, but it's sunny.
At least it's sunny. Yeah.
And so it's like, I feel like in Wisconsin, we become like kids. Like, as soon as the sun comes out, it's like, oh my God. We gotta go outside.
We gotta go outside now. And experience the sunlight.
And like the first 45-degree day of
the
new year, it's like everybody's in shorts. But like in the fall, like the first 45-degree day, everybody's in coats.
It's so crazy. Like the perspective of that, because I have a bunch of friends who live in California, and like if they came here and it was 40 degrees, they'd be like, oh man, it's cold. Yeah. I'm like, no, it's beautiful. I went for a 6-mile run yesterday because it was 46 degrees in shorts.
Yeah, I was in student government in college, and I was at this Congress for USSA, the United States Student Association.
Yeah.
And so it's a bunch of student governments from like all across the United States that come together.
Okay.
And talk about like what issues they want to focus on for the next year.
Sure.
And I remember like all the kids that came from like UCLA, they're like, "Oh my God, it's so sunny here." And I'm like, "Man, I thought it was sunny in California."
Yeah.
And they're like, "In LA, it's all smog. We don't see the sky." And I was like, "Dang, I never even thought about that."
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "I don't know. It's always like this here."
Yeah. We're lucky. I can go tan in the wintertime. Go out and tan my skin.
It's kind of crazy, like, this perspective, though. Like, I don't know. I like hearing other people's ideas. Because, like, you can get, like, really down on, like, a city for a while. And then, like, hearing other people, like, come in and being like, this place is amazing and beautiful. And you're like, oh, maybe this place isn't so bad after all.
Yeah. It's kind of like walking around with someone who's never been to Milwaukee, and they're pointing out like all the cool stuff. Oh, I never even realized that was cool.
Yeah, you know? Because you're seeing it through their lens, and like it makes you see, like whenever you see anything from like a new lens, it kind of makes life more interesting.
Yeah, I don't have kids, but that's what I heard is really cool about having kids.
Yeah,
that you get to experience everything again.
Yeah,
you know, and be like go through school and stuff, and like go all these changes and experience all that again through them. And like I don't have kids once again, but I heard that was a cool experience.
I think that's a cool thing about being a teacher. Like like if you don't have kids, like if you're a teacher, you get to see it like through your students' eyes over.
Yeah.
And like the new students come every year, and you just get to experience everything through like the youth's eyes. And it's like, man, you think you're the teacher, but honestly the students are teaching you.
Yeah. Is there from your teaching experience, is there students that you kind of still think about that are like, wow, they're really awesome?
Definitely. Actually, when I was in Sheboygan, I started this other project called Kaleidoscope with my friend Judy Schmidt.
Okay.
And she still runs it up there.
What is Kaleidoscope?
And it's going into the homeless shelters around the city.
Okay.
And doing art projects with the kids and families.
Oh, cool.
And so I remember there was this little girl, and she just always sticks out in my mind because like everything she was saying to me was so prolific.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, you're only 6 years old. Like, how do you have these thoughts?
Yeah.
And I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, she sticks out in my mind. And there were students that I had in Brazil too. Like, there's like certain, like, it's like questions that they ask that stick out in my mind. Like,
sure.
I remember I did this, or like it's certain classes too that I've taught that like really like it. Whenever it's like a profound experience, like those stick out in my mind.
Like what, for example? Is there any questions that anyone asked you that are like, oh, I never even thought of it that way?
Yeah, I was teaching a class on film and culture when I was in Brazil, and so I chose like different films that I'd seen from like various cultures, like different countries around the world, and like how they depict culture. And one of the students asked me, he's like, "Why did you choose this one for Brazil? Like out of all the films?"
Yeah.
And I was like, in my mind, like I just think about it to this day. You know, like this experience was 5 years ago, and I still think about it to this day. Like, why did I pick that film? Like, it could have been any film. Like, I could have picked the one where they're on the beach and they're just partying all the time. Or I could have picked the one where it's just about the kids on the road trip.
Yeah.
And, but I chose this specific film. And then I thought about, like, how what we choose to depict a culture can have this other impact on the people.
Yeah.
Like thinking like, oh, this is how you see us. And I was like, man, I don't ever want you to think, I don't ever want people to come away from an experience with me thinking like, this is how I see you.
Yeah.
Like based on like the decisions that I've chosen.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it becomes like this two-way street where you almost become more aware, more like actualized in like your decisions or choices and like how you want to depict something, like your experience.
Yeah. What film did you pick?
It was Cidade de Deus, City of God.
Okay. Is that a really famous Brazilian film?
Yeah, it's a really good film. It's all about the favela Cidade de Deus in Rio de Janeiro. And it's just about this kid who's a photographer, and he's trying to escape, like, he really wants to, like, get out of the favela, and it's just, like, told through, like, his lens of, like, how he sees, like, life growing up there. And
is it pretty accurate to the portrayal of what you experienced there? Is that why you picked it?
I never went to the favela,
okay.
But I think, like, I understood, like, where he was coming from, like, where he, like, not many kids have this opportunity to get out, and he had this creative background, and he just wanted to be creative, and I was like, I just identify with, like, this kid who's just creative, and he just wants to use his creativity to become, like, his springboard for his life.
Yeah. Well, I think, just generally, that's a good point to make, you know? A lot of people don't think about how your decisions affect the portrayal of other people, you know what I mean? Or what they think about themselves, even, based on what you choose to think about them. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sorry, that becomes, like, a very meta conversation.
It's a lot.
There's, like, so many layers. Like, what are you talking about anymore?
No, but that I never really thought of anything that way. So that's kicking some knowledge.
Yeah, sorry, I get, like, deep sometimes.
No, yeah. So besides Brazil, what was, I guess, your second favorite place to be? Where is it? I've been to London. I haven't been to Germany. I heard that was really cool.
Germany was really fun. Yeah. We didn't go to Berlin or Munich or anything. We did go to Frankfurt for a couple hours for, like, a day trip.
Yeah.
But we went to Heidelberg. That was, like, the first city we went to.
Yeah.
And that city has, like, the smartest urban development I've ever seen.
How so?
Like, the entire layout of the city was just, like,
thought through.
Like, wow, this is what a city should be.
Yeah.
It's like you're like, okay, well, this is Old Town. This is the university space. This is downtown. And then there's, like, the end of the Alps over here, like the hillside. And
how old is that? Do you know, like, roughly how old that city is? Like, was that intentional when they started building up all these areas of the city, or did it just kind of, wow, I can't believe this happened?
I didn't get that deep into, like, the history of the city, but I just knew, like, being in it, like, the immersive experience, I was like, man, like,
it makes
this
sense.
is a very, like, well thought through and like, planned out city.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, you on the flip end, you go to some cities that you're like, what is happening here? Like, what is this?
That's what I felt about London, because I heard, I'm so nerdy. I heard Britney Spears was filming a video in, like, North London. Oh. And I was like, I'm going to rent the bike.
How old is this? Like, what music video?
Criminal. So, like, that was 2011.
I don't even know that one.
Where it's like, Mama, I'm in love with a criminal.
Yeah, I know a lot of Britney Spears. Like, I don't know that one.
But I was like, oh my God, since I was a kid, like, I'm going to be Britney Spears.
That'd be cool.
So I, like, rent one of those bikes, like the city bikes or whatever. And I'm like, I just have to keep going straight, and eventually I'll hit north.
Yeah.
But I don't realize at the time is that the city is a circle. So going straight just brings you right back to where you started.
I was here before, right?
And I'm like, man, this is, like, a lot. And then, like, an hour and a half later, I get back to the exact space I started. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I give up. Britney Spears is out there. She don't want to meet me by.
Oh, dang. That would have been so cool. Yeah, I mean, London is just, like, so sprawling. That's the craziest part about the city. Yeah. There's not really, like, I never felt, like, overwhelmed like you're in New York, where it's, like, there's skyscrapers. Everything's just so far apart. It feels like it's all over. It's like Los Angeles was when I was there.
Well, when you see the map, like, in the metro,
the
tube, like you're only going to, like, zones 1 through 2, you know, like, that's central London. But, like, you see on the map where it, like, goes to, like, zone 13, and you're like, man, if zones 1 through 2 is, like, an hour ride, I was like, where the hell is zone 13?
Yeah, where are they going? That's way out there.
I'm like, that's not London.
Yeah.
That's like Scotland or something. I'm like, where are you going?
Yeah. It's such a sprawling place. Like, did you like being there though?
Oh yeah, I loved London. Like, there's so much happening in that city.
Yeah.
Like, you could go anywhere, meet anyone, and just have a fun time. Like, the weird thing is, when I used to go to New York a lot because my best friend studied out there too.
Sure.
And so I always thought in my mind, like, London's going to be just like the UK version of New York.
Yeah.
And like you get there and it's like there's not like these huge skyscrapers. It's more historical, and like things tend to like die down after midnight. Like there's not like everybody just goes home. Like the pub closes at midnight. But like you're used to like, okay, it's midnight, now what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's
even
like, well,
here.
What do I get to do till like 2 or 6 in the morning?
Yeah. No, I gotta go to sleep, I guess.
Yeah. So it's like then you like start getting into like their like underground club culture, and that's when things like start to get more interesting, because those are like the places that are open till like 6 a.m. and it's like, okay, what's this experience gonna bring to me? Like I can get on the 88, like the double bus or the double decker bus, and just where's it gonna take me? I'm going up to Camden Town. I'm going down to Elephant and Castle. And
Did you go to the underground clubs and stuff like that?
I don't think I was ever in like an underground club, because I mean like their scene is like so intense. Like I've watched like those Vice documentaries where like they sneak into like these old warehouses and like open it up for like a pop-up rave, and I was like, I would want to be a part of that, but I wasn't like that immersed in this city.
So back to the Bus Art Project, as we where can people go to find out more about that?
So if you go to the Instagram page, there's at the Bus Art Project MKE.
Okay. Do you guys have a website or anything like that?
We do have a website on the MCTS page. I don't know what that is, but the link is in the Bus Art Project Instagram.
Oh, okay. So people can go there and like check out the bus art, or also if they want to apply for a future installation.
Yep. So we will announce the call, like the call for artists, on January 31st. So any artists that want to apply should submit.
Is that for like the whole year, or just like a specific time period?
Yeah, so that'll be for this year.
And when are you guys looking to start like putting stuff up in 2019? I had to think about what year it was.
So we can start putting things up in either April or May.
Once it gets a little bit nicer.
Yeah, because the adhesive, it has to be, I believe, like 45 degrees outside to like make for like a proper installation of the vinyl on the glass. Because it can get like 80 below zero here, and then it becomes problematic.
Yeah, sure.
So we just like wait till it's nicer days, like when we can properly install it.
Cool. Well, for sure, go check that out. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was such a weaving road, but we got there. Thanks for listening.